Okay, so I want to know about the TV show. Let's go there.
Okay.
Where did that even come from? Was that you pursued it, or did they come to you?
So I actually, we were flipping a bunch of houses, and we would watch the HGTV shows just for like maybe inspiration and just kind of see how they do things. And I was like, we do that. So I came across like a little ad online, and I sent in a family postcard, and I was like, we'd love to travel, and this is what we do. We're up in Northern California, and didn't think anything of it. And then about 6 months later, I got a random phone call from the production company, and they're like, hey, we're with, Pie Town Production.
Yeah.
We work with HGTV, and I took they asked me a few questions. Are you still doing what you're doing? Is this, and they started interviewing us and asking us more and more questions. Then we had to do like some Zoom interviews.
Yeah. And then next thing we know, it's like, hey, we're going to fly you guys to Hollywood. I'm like, wait, what? What? And then so like they fly us out to Hollywood, and then there's somebody like with our last name waiting at the airport for us. So we get in the car, and then we go up to Pie Town Productions, and it's like this. They show us, like they give us a tour of all the productions, all the cameras and everything. And then we go into their meeting room, and then there's like 10 people in there.
Yeah.
And I swear,
the
like
owners and
and everyone's in there, and I'm literally like, oh my gosh, I can't hear what anybody's saying. Like I'm just like, wow. Like, and anyways, so they basically said, hey, we liked the Zoom meetings, and
so we had to also go in like during the process and just go to like Home Depot and just film something. I'd like pick up this and be like, wow, this tile is really nice color. What do you think about this? And like just kind of do a little bit of a show stuff.
Yeah, we had to send them a bunch of little videos.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so in the middle of that meeting, they said, hey, well, we really like you guys. We're the same guys that found Tarek and Christina. We feel that you guys would be great on TV. We're going to do a pilot with you guys. And so I said, a pilot, so what does that mean? Because I'm not from the TV world, I don't know what that means. So they go, we're gonna flip one house in Paradise, California. It's gonna take 3 to 4 months. You're gonna have a full production crew there, and if the pilot, once it airs, if the ratings are good, then we'll put you through to a series.
Yeah.
So
and this actually was at a pivotal moment for us in our real estate world, because David was still working at the casino when he got out of college, and I was doing medical device sales for a while. And so it was like we had to make that leap of faith. Like
because for filming, you got to film 5 days a week.
Yep.
It's sometimes it's 8 or 9 hours a day, and it's a lot of work. It's a whole nother job.
Yep.
And so I was just like, we just looked at each other and said, we don't have the money now, but we're going to do this. We're going to do
We'll
this.
figure
Like,
it
this
out,
is a golden opportunity
Yeah.
to be on TV with that many viewers. Like, this could completely change our life. Like, let's go all in.
Yeah.
So at that point, I quit my job.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did
We
the
filmed
pilot.
the pilot.
It was hard. It was hard.
Because it's one thing if you're a real estate investor, you know how to find deals, you know how to do real estate, but it's a whole nother thing when a camera's on you and you have to articulate, and you have to, I'll tell you, I always say reality TV is harder than scripted TV, because scripted TV, you actually get you know what's coming, you plan everything, and then you act out your lines, right? Reality TV, you got to say everything right then and there, and like you have to be on point with what you're saying. And so it was nerve-wracking in the beginning, but we got through it.
Yeah.
And the pilot went great. And what was weird is we waited, I think 8 or 9 months after the pilot aired. And so we thought, oh, the ratings were bad.
It was 6 months, because we had just had our youngest, and I said, if we do this, like I nursed all my kids, and so I was like, I'm not going to be away from my babies.
Yep.
I made him go to the hospital when I was in medical device with our oldest. So I said, as long as she's 6 months old, like then I'll do it. But I don't want to do it earlier than that. On the 6 months date, almost to the date, it was like the June 19th, and she was born on the 18th of December. So it was like 6 months exactly. They called and said, oh, you want to do a series. They wanted to push it through.
So the original pilot was called Flipping Paradise. And then they said, we're going to rebrand it, and it's going to be called Rustic Rehab. So at that point, we were like, yes. And then they're like, well, just so you know, you're going to have to flip 8 houses in 6 months with a full crew and all this. And this is going to be a full-time job, So we were just like, okay, and here's the other thing. Even if you have the houses like that you're investing in, that might not meet their criteria for what they're doing. Like they want, your houses for TV have to be big transformations.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that made it really hard. Like I had to really go find houses that were great for TV.
Yeah,
So-
people don't. I think they don't realize that how most flippers operate is pretty boring houses that
Yeah.
do
Yes.
minimal
Yeah.
work,
Yes.
same paint, same like.
Yeah.
It'd be
Yeah.
super boring
Yeah.
to actually watch
So
a
then
show.
I
of
had to
real
like
flipping.
find, I had to like do all these
You have
like
to-
really
yeah,
cool
yeah,
stuff. I
yeah,
gotta be a
yeah.
kind
I'm
of
gonna go.
designer.
I always laugh
Yeah.
when they go to the specialty tile store
Yeah.
to pick out that special tile for
Yeah.
that one. I'm like, no one does that.
No,
nobody
does that.
We go to
No.
Home Depot and we get the same tile we use on the 8 other houses.
Unless you're flipping a
Yeah, a
several
multi- yeah,
million
exactly.
dollar property where that's needed.
Exactly,
But,
but
with
it just
our
adds way more
hometown-
fun to
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah.
So it was really challenging for sure. Like
we had to navigate that in the
to
small
navigate
town.
that and still run our real estate business.
Yep.
And we had to still manage our contractors.
And be
we
parents.
Yeah,
Yep.
So it was a lot of work, but we made it through.
Yeah,
And
yeah. It
Did
was
you guys
definitely
make
really frustrating.
money on those 8 flips? Because you have to, don't you have to over rehab them?
Minimal.
so minimal
Well,
because
so minimal on those, but then like I thought you meant like as far as getting paid to do that because it's not like
Yeah.
you don't get paid
You don't
until
get
you're
paid
like
till- yeah.
super
Yeah.
successful 10, 15 years later. Once
yeah.
you,
Yeah.
we had to cover up all the Home Depot buckets. Everyone knows what an orange bucket is.
Yeah. But
yeah.
the flips made money though. Like I mean, it was real money.
Yeah. We actually got caught. This is, failure, right? You have to fail if you're not, if you don't want to be successful. We did one house and we get a call. Like we bought the house at an auction, got a call, and he's like, "Congratulations, you just acquired a $40,000 lien on the property, and I'm ready for my money when you have it, basically."
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
were like, what? This is a joke. We
the
looked
worst
it up.
part is that I went to the auction court steps, got the house for $100,000, and I called him like, "Babe, I just picked up a house for $100,000. Like, the comps are $350. Like, we're golden. Like,
is it.
This is
Yeah.
it." Then he calls me, and it wasn't $40,000. It was $59,000.
Oh, okay.
He calls me and goes, "You also have a second lien on this for $59,000.
Oh,
And the
no.
only reason, because I usually work with the title company, they make sure the title's clear. My title officer, we were filming, and the title officer wasn't, like, I couldn't get a hold of that day. But I'm like, I gotta get this house for $100,000. Like, that can't be a lien. Like, it'll be all good, right? Sure enough, boom.
Yeah.
No,
Sure enough,
yeah,
a lien.
yeah.
And so, yeah.
And that was a house that we used in film on HGTV.
Mm-hmm.
And then we actually did make a little bit of money, maybe because it was like so nice and it had to be so like custom kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
yep.
we
That's cool.
squeaked by.
Yeah. But most of the houses, like, we either broke even or we made a little bit of money on them.
Yeah.
But it definitely was challenging because the houses have to look good for TV.
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah.
you have to
And
spend
it takes
more money.
longer. So then
Yeah.
your contractors are like, "Hey, I'm like, I don't want to be on TV."
Yeah.
And like,
That's definitely a challenging
'cause
thing,
you have
was
to
managing the
film.
contractors through the filming.
Yeah.
Because they just want, with a flip game, as we all know, you want to get in and get out.
Yeah.
And with them, they're like, "Hey, why are we not getting in and getting out?" Like,
Yeah.
it's a slow process.
what do you mean I
so
can't do this today? And I got to
You gotta wait for the
I
film
never-
crew.
I
You
never
can't.
thought of that.
Yeah. So it was definitely really hard, but
Yeah.
a fun experience,
Yeah. So what happened with the show?
Well, it aired on a Tuesday, and then we had the campfire on Thursday.
Yeah. Explain for
So-
those people who don't know what happened there.
Oh gosh, the campfire was one of the most devastating fires it was in the U.S. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, killed
Um,
82 people, burned over 13,000 structures.
Yeah.
We lost seven
six
houses
houses
in the fire.
Yeah.
Our house caught on
Yeah.
fire.
I think actually every house that we did on HGTV was gone.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
Like
Yep.
I didn't realize how
Yeah, it was
Like-
brutal. But that day, the firefighters they weren't able to fight the fire because it was moving so fast,
Yep.
and so they happened to just be on our street, which was like it was definitely
Yeah.
it is an act of God that they were there and saved our house. And our anyways, the fire caught our septic tank, plumbing pipes. It burned the clean out line, lifted up it basically lifted up the toilet in our kids' bathroom, and then was burning the drywall and the insulation. And the firefighters ran in through the middle of the door and got in, flushed the toilet, and put the fire out.
Wow.
And
Saved our
so
house, yeah.
and a lot of our neighbors lost their house
Yeah.
on
And
our
we-
street.
And we didn't find out for a while, and then it said on our security alarm, it said like glass break on every single window. I think it was just the heat like activated the alarm, so we thought for sure our windows were done.
Yep.
The Welcome to Paradise sign was on fire, burning, and that's like was just a few hundred feet away from our
And
house.
we didn't
so
find out that our house made it until
for a
maybe
couple weeks, I think, because there was a police officer that was we had a friend that her husband was a police officer and
when
like
we
scoped it out.
Exactly. And when we came home, there were black footprints going from the front door to my kid's bathroom. And so originally I thought, oh man, somebody got up here and broke into our house. But it was the fireman's boots that were going into the house, and he put out the fire.
Yeah.